Why, hello there! How are you today? Awesome Soul, back at it again in XenoRaptor. This time around, we will be getting redemption on Phobos, but with a vastly improved arsenal. So I have done quite a considerable amount of grinding. I have been lucky enough to get our reinforced hull up to level 4, the tactical sensor to level 2. Our missiles are still the drills that will pierce the heavens. And now, I have actually opted to go with the scattergun. I know I said in episode 1 that the scattergun was kind of too similar, or too similar to the chain gun, but I guess I was kind of wrong. It definitely does have a use, and I have been enjoying said use quite a lot. Oh, actually, I've also got the rocket boosters to level 3, and I've actually upgraded these weapons considerably as well. Now, you don't really upgrade them, you kind of just unlock them. So I've got the energy beam to Mark III, and the scattergun also to Mark III, and the photon core, because that's the only core I have, and I've actually got it set up as heavy. So, without further ado, let me just save here for good measure, and jump into it. Alright, here we go. So, this time around, obviously, I have opted for the scattergun over the flak, because, well, this time, I think it's a lot more well-rounded than the flak is. Flak is quite niche. This one is good against anything, especially since I added the incendiary on it. It seems to be working out quite well, because it's very tailored to hit-and-run style gameplay, which is what I usually tend to go for, it seems. And this laser beam, the heavy laser, I think it's actually, no, it's just called the laser beam, but I've got the heavy focus on it, as well as the photon, I guess, beam type? I think I used another word, but basically it's really the only beam type I have. I think it's focus and channel, something like that. But yeah, so far this build has been winning me a lot of matches, which is nice, because it certainly helps with grinding, that's for certain. The flak really just wasn't doing it for me. This one, like I said, is a whole lot more well-rounded, and it's actually decent on bosses, which the flak wasn't that great at. I mean, it could push people back, but it was definitely well-tailored to taking out groups of enemies, but I guess it's a higher skill cap weapon, you could almost say, just because you have to time your shots, and you have to not only pay attention to the enemies, but you also have to pay attention to how close and or far away your cursor is, because that determines how exactly, or when exactly rather, it will explode on you. And this one, you just send a wave of projectiles at the enemy, and you're pretty much good to go. There we go. And why exactly do I not really have another plasma weapon on this thing, you might ask? Because I was sort of singing the praises when it came to the stun effect. Now, don't get me wrong, stun is good, but I think it's not quite as powerful as I first thought. The damage over time of the whole... Oh, I was close to exploding that barrel there. The whole damage over time of the incendiary ammo type just seems to be a lot better than the fact that you can stun targets. Now, it would be good on, say, this beam, for example, because you could attack the enemy and it would also stun them too. But you can't really get plasma on this beam weapon from what I've seen, unfortunately. But that's alright, because who needs to stun people when you have an insanely high damage weapon? Other than that, I have opted to go with the missiles some more, because they're just way too fun to use. Now, I actually did unlock the laser-guided missile system upgrade, and basically what that does, I love the little description for it. It basically says it turns it, it's based off of cat AI. So you know how cats are well known for following laser pointers? Well, that's exactly what the missiles start doing. They will follow your cursor around, which is quite handy when you've got these drills. You basically stick them into the enemy. Although I have actually decided to stick with the system I have before, the self-targeting, or auto-seeking, or whatever you want to call it. It's working well for me, and if it's working well, I don't really see a reason to change it. Alright, loads of DACA. Here we come. Missiles away. Let me just hide in here and get some incendiaries going off. Good old damage over time effect. Very handy. Alright. Very nice. Ooh. There we go. Alright, so far so good. This setup is a whole lot better than my last one, I have to admit. Particle cannon. Ooh, a new weapon. Nice. Because I've been playing the old maps a lot, and I think what it seems to be is each map has a chance of giving you a set of items, and then once you have everything unlocked that's new in that sort of level, you will then go ahead and start upgrading things, because after it seemed like I had played them like 3 or 4 times, basically I wasn't getting anything new. So just upgrades, but I mean upgrades are fine because, well, because of those upgrades, I feel that I am actually able to possibly beat this thing. Unfortunately, now I have jinxed myself and I am guaranteed to lose. Isn't that wonderful? Oh boy, these missiles, man, I tell you. It's a pretty powerful weapon, and something I'm actually looking forward to getting. I think they're called Mini Seekers is the weapon type, and it's not in the special section. It's actually in the main weapon section. So if you wanted, you could have bombs instead of missiles, which seem pretty cool, but I just kind of like missiles because, I mean, drill missiles. Need I say more? And speaking of, I think I will set a few their way. Okay, let's get rid of these heavier targets here because they're getting on my nerves. Alright, good. Yes, priority targets is definitely something you need to be very careful of and watch out for. If you see anything that's got a heavy weapon, best to kill it first. I know I said that last episode, I think, but it begs repeating because it's a very important piece of advice, and you again. Find coolant. Will do. So, yeah, that's totally a thing. Bosses will show up now as regular enemies. Just as tense as last time. Okay. I need health. Give me health, please. No, you've got to be kidding. Okay. Well, let's come back to this and check out the particle cannon. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Okay, and we are back, this time with the photon cannon. So what it appears to be is a mix between a railgun and a laser beam, which is kind of what I was using before. So it fires a short burst of like a laser beam, and you have to hold on the target, so it doesn't deal all the damage instantly. It sort of deals it over a little bit of time. But I've been liking it a whole lot. Unfortunately though, if you hit like a tiny little target, it will deal all its damage to that target, so you have to be very careful. Hence why you've got to use a swarm clearing weapon like the scattergun or the flak. Although, again, personally, I would go with the scattergun at the moment. Seems to be the best bet, and a lot of fun to use, especially with the incendiary rounds. Alright, there's the good old DACAs, as I believe they were called. Loads of DACA was the boss fight, so I would assume this one is just called DACA. I don't know. The cool thing, though, is this is also another boss killer type weapon. Yeah, the drills are a boss killer weapon as well. So I've got 2 boss killers. Yeah, makes short work of a boss fight, I'll tell you. Unfortunately, as usual, getting to said boss fight is always a little tricky. Missiles away. I really need to be using my missiles a lot more. I think that's kind of what's killing me here. Alright. Is this the... No, not this time. So, probably the next wave is most likely going to be the boss fight. If I can't get up to those health packets... There we go. Cool. Now I got a bit more of a chance here. Alright, let's take out these mini-bosses, I guess we can call them. And... clear this wave out. I think... Good moves, man. I think I might actually be able to beat this level. Okay. There we go. Oh, and it seems to be that the weapon that ship was firing a few seconds ago is the Tesla variant of this photon cannon. Because I saw you could actually load it up with the Tesla-style bullets or rounds or core, or I think it was a core. Whatever you want to call it. Oh, jeez, okay. Yeah, might have spoken too soon here. Things are getting a little tricky. Let's see, I am at missile cap here, though. So, I've got plenty of missiles. Is this the boss fight? It is. Bullet Demon. Oh dear. Okay. It's just a spinning wall of death. So let's see if I can't charge you. And... nice. Okay. Hide behind these asteroids is definitely something I need to be doing here. Come on. And please die. Yes. Good. And gotta get rid of these small guys. I think I got this. I think it's just the small ones left. Dumbfire weapon mod. Nice. There we go. So, admittedly, I did actually have to switch to easy mode. So, it's very tricky, this game. I'll tell you. But, I think I'm trying to learn exactly the best way to do things. Because I think it's one of those games where you have to grind a lot to get the best stuff. But hopefully you don't mind that. I will probably come back to this, grind a whole lot more, and then continue. But we'll see. Anyways, guys, I thank you so much for watching. I, of course, have been the Awesome Soul, and I will see you next time. Take care.